So today we're playing Payday 3 in 2025. Everyone knows the train wreck that this game was, and it actually has improved over the past couple of years. The glitches and bugs and technical problems, along with the server issues, have actually been resolved for the most part. It is definitely a lot more playable in 2025 than it was a few years ago when it first released. So that's something I'm just going to say right off the bat is definitely improved dramatically, but it still does not quite hold up to Payday 2. Between the level of content, the amount of stuff that there actually is to do in the game, and just the overall level design is not as fun and memorable as what we got in Payday 2 and even Payday 1. So I think it just is fundamentally a flawed game. It's not a bad game. Like, I think if you get it for cheap enough and you have some friends to play with, it can be a really good time. Like, you can get some value out of this game still, but if we're talking about which one is worth more, Payday 3 or Payday 2, despite Payday 2 coming out almost a decade before Payday 3, Payday 2 is still much better and has a lot more to offer in 2025 between just the amount of mod support and content that there is to download outside of the official content that we got in the game. Like, the Steam Workshop is amazing for Payday 2, and you also have a lot more people that are actually playing Payday 2. How much more? Well, your average player count with Steam on Payday 3 is like 400 to 500 players each day, while Payday 2 is like anywhere between 15 and 20,000 in 2025 each day. So the player base is a small fraction of what Payday 2 is, and that is for very good reason. Because Payday 2 is just a much better game and is worth your time way more than Payday 3 is. But Payday 3, I'd say if you already played Payday 2 and you feel like you got enough out of that game and you want to play more Payday, but you're tired of Payday 2, then go ahead and get this game on sale. Like, it has to be really, 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 really cheap for you to even consider it. It's definitely not worth full price. But it does go on sale very often because of the fact that the game sold poorly, so they're trying to get as much money as they possibly can out of this dumpster fire of a game. So, you'll get it for pretty cheap very often. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think it's on sale right now. Like, not the Steam summer sale, but there's, like, I see, like, a bunch of Steam websites, like Steam key sites, that are selling keys for, like, less than $10. So, yeah, you'll get it pretty cheap. But, yeah, the fact that the player count is just such a small fraction compared to Payday 2, you're able to find matches, no problem, like, pretty much any time of the day, but it's just so much easier in the game that's a decade older, which is sad but true, and because of the player count being so small, you're really not likely to get much more content going forward. They might add a couple of new heists before it's all said and done, but right now there's only 16, I think there are, so not a lot, a very small number compared to what we got in Payday 2. It's just not financially viable, so even though they technically haven't officially canceled support for the game yet, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. So I wouldn't, like, this isn't really a game that you're going to invest in, like this live service you're going to spend years and years and years playing. The game's already cooked, and it has already reached its peak, which was not that high to begin with, but it's only going down, down, down from here. As sad as it is, this game had so much potential considering what Payday 2 was able to become. Payday 3, they had so many years to make a worthy sequel and just couldn't live up to it. I mean, there were a lot of problems going on behind the scenes with Starbreeze, and I know the people who founded it, one of them leaving, and that definitely fucked things up a lot. So there's a lot of bullshit that happened that could have been avoided, and the game would have been so much better, but it is what it is. There's always going to be games like this in beloved franchises that they make a new game and it's just a complete slap in the face and is just nothing, not worth anything compared to what the previous game was. And Payday 3 is definitely one of those examples. Again, it's not necessarily a horrible game. It's not like just completely irredeemable, but it definitely puts into question the future of the series, that's for sure. I mean, I think really the best bet is people just going to keep creating modded content for Payday 2, and that's how the series goes on at this point, because you can't trust Starbreeze to keep it going. They've proven that they lost the plot. And Payday 3, I would say, is not worth playing for most people. If you're a hardcore Payday fan and you're a hardcore like co-op player, then maybe it's worth checking out a little bit, but I don't think your average person is going to come into this game for the first time in 2025 and be like, wow, I love this game so much. I really got my money's worth. I mean, if it's like $10 or $5, maybe you did, but I'm just saying overall, doesn't really have much to offer. And when you're looking into co-op games, co-op shooters, there's just a plethora of better options in 2025 that I wouldn't even really give Payday 3 a serious look. It's just better off avoiding it.